Hi everybody and welcome along to this new project that we're doing. It's a kind of mini album meets journal. I don't know which to call it. It's taking the form of a mini album, the pages, etc. So it's probably more of a mini album, but it will have a lot of journaling in it. So whatever you decide. And the design paper that we're using will be from The Country Diary of an Edwardian Lady. And I've got a couple here that I'm going to cut into. This one I already have started to cut into, so I don't feel too bad about that. But the other one's pretty new, so you got to gird your loins and go with it. So the pages themselves, there will be 4 pages, a back and a front and a spine, but we'll leave the binding till after we've made the pages, just to double check that they'll fit in the width of the spine that I want. But the 4 pages themselves are all made in exactly the same way, and I'm using craft because I think it looks nice with Edith. I think it just tones in nicely, but you could use black, white, cream, any card at all. This is 280 GSM, so it's fairly thick, but it's not the thickest, but it'll be fine. It's absolutely fine. But as I say, you can use whatever colour you want. It's your journal. So for the pages themselves, I'm going to cut out one piece at 10 1/4. And keep all your remnants. I've got all my remnants in a pile there. So that's 10 1/4 by 7 1/4. And then the other one wants to be 9 1/4 by 7 1/4. I recommend you write these measurements down if you want to do an Edith one. I've chosen this measurement because it fits in with the size of the pages on the Edith book. So I'll go through the measurements with you once more. So this one and this one make up one page, and this one measures 9 1/4 inches by 7 1/4 inches, and the other one measures 10 1/4 inches by 7 1/4 inches. Now what we're going to do with the longer one is score on each side, put the 10 1/4 inch side down along the top of your scoreboard and score 1/2 inch in on each end. So 1/2 inch there. I'm just going to turn mine round and do 1/2 inch on the other end. So there we are. And then we just make the page. And remember, for our journal, we need 4 of these. So fold that across where you've just scored and burnish it down. Same on the other side. There we are. So for mine, I'm going to use double-sided and glue. I know that might seem a bit excessive, but I don't want this to come apart. And the other thing is, if I just use double-sided, once it's stuck, it's stuck. You can't move it. It's, it's what they call a dry glue, and once it's made contact with something, whatever it may be, it's stuck to it. So the glue on top of the double-sided gives you a bit of freedom. You can move your page around just a little bit to get it exactly where you want it. So put our double-sided on, like that, burnish it down. Always burnish your double-sided down because you get air underneath it, and we don't want air. Ultimately, in the long run, any air in it will cause failure. Failure. And we don't want failure. So that's all my ends of my double-sided off. And then I'm going to take this piece, which is the other piece we've just cut, pick off the back of the double-sided on one of the flaps, apply some glue. I'm using Collall. It suits me, I like it. It's not as expensive as Fabri-Tac, art glitter glue, etc. But it does the job very well, I think. So that's my glue of choice. So I've got this flap facing me, glued and double-sided. And I'm going to take this piece, the other piece that we cut, the 9 1/4 by 7 1/4, and I'm going to place that on it. And I want it exactly over it. So put both your pieces down on a hard surface and press them both down to the bottom, and then you'll know you've got it exactly right. And it should be exactly square up there, which it looks like it is. And then we're going to do, well, I'm going to open that up first of all and just burnish that down. And on this side we're going to do exactly the same. Pick off your tape, put your glue on. I must say these Sugar Bell bottles that I've got my glue in, they are fabulous. I was gifted mine by Tony Vince, and I'm very grateful to her. I've subsequently bought some myself because I love them so much. Just make applying glue so easy. So with this one, with the flap facing me, I'm just going to hold that down because I don't want a load of air in there, and pop that on top of that. And there you have it, one page. So you do have to be careful with your cutting. Close enough is not good enough. It needs to be exact. Otherwise you won't get, it won't work, the whole thing won't work. So, yeah, take your time over your cutting. Right, so there we have it. We have a page. And what will ultimately happen is that we will create a spine that's got sort of fins, and this page will go over one of these fins, and it will be in our book like that. So we have a page. Right, what we need to put on the page are some flaps, something interesting. So I've created 2 flaps. This one says bottom flap page 1, and it's 7 1/4 by 6 inches. I actually think it would be a good idea if I did a document and put all these measurements on, because I appreciate it's difficult when you're watching through to try and write all these measurements down and make sense of where they go, etc, etc. So I will put all the measurements down for you, and it'll be in a file in my Facebook group, which is called Miss Paint-A-Lot's Junk Journal Group. So it's a fairly straightforward title, Miss Paint-A-Lot's Junk Journal Group, and I will write all the measurements of everything down that I've used. I just need a little bit of paper to start writing them on. A receipt from somewhere, invoice should I say. So the pages, but I will write all this down for you, are 10 1/4 by 7 1/4 and 9 1/4 by 7 1/4. So this is page 1 here. So the bottom flap measures 7 1/4 across, so it's the same width as our page, and it measures 6 inches from here to here. So the bottom flap is 7 1/4 by 6, and I've scored it at 1/2 inch across the 6 inch. So you put your 6 inches up to the top of your scoreboard and score 1/2 inch. Okay, so that's the bottom flap. The top flap is 7 1/4 inches wide, so the same width as your page, and it's 5 1/2 inches. So that's 5 1/2 inches from there to there, and then you score at 1/2 inch across the 5 1/2 side. I'm just jotting this down now, but I won't need to do it for every page because I'll make a document. That's what I'll do. Right, so this bottom flap is going to get attached like that, so it can flap down. This top flap is going to get attached there, but you can see that they won't really stay in place very well. They'll want a spring. Now you've got a few choices that you can do here. You can apply some ribbon and apply it, you know, round the back of the pocket, so inside the pocket. Bring your ribbon round and tie it, and that will work perfectly. For this, I'm going to use magnets. The bottom flap will be fine. The top flap is it's the one that lies on the top, so it's the one that needs the magnet. And I'd like it sort of 1/2 inch in, like so. Hooray! So all I've done is I've decided where I want my magnet, and really you want it a good half. That's probably 3/4 inch in from that edge actually. And just put your magnet down, put double-sided tape over it. Bye, Mr. F's off shopping. Take care out there.
I will. Love you.
Love you, bye.
Bye.
So that magnet is there, and I need to draw where I want it on this one. Or you can do what I'm also going to do right now, which is take a piece of double-sided and attach it. Don't attach it, put the release paper next to the release paper like that. Stop it, get off. This double-sided, I tell you, it's sticky stuff. Get off, thank you. And I'm going to take another magnet and these are 10 mils by 1 mil. I hope they're going to be strong enough for this craft paper because it's quite strong stuff. So I want this to be the opposite. Yeah, that's the way that it goes. So having established that, I'm just going to put my double-sided down, put that on the top like so, and then I can place my flap where I want it to go, being very exact about it, which is exactly there. And then I can press this down around the magnet, and then when you lift that up, you'll have your pair of magnets exactly where you want them. Okay, so the next thing to do is to attach the flap, top and bottom. So it's the same procedure, bit of double-sided along the flap itself. And I'll just pop it on the bottom flap as well while we're here. And then I'm going to put the bottom one on first. So peel off your tape and put some glue on. Lovely. I've just got some bits over there that I don't want. Okay, so it's time to place your bottom flap on, and you want it right at the bottom, unsurprisingly. So square that up. I'm getting some glue coming out. So put it on the table and make sure that it is exactly where you want it, along the bottom, like that. Rather too much glue there, missus. Right, so that's nice and square, exactly where we want it. Excellent. Now for the top one, same. Scalpel's attached to my magnets. That's a good thing actually. If I ever lose my magnets on the table, I just get my scissors out and pass them around the table, and you can guarantee that they'll stick to it. So it's a good magnet finder. So maybe not quite as much glue as last time, I think. And you want this right on the top, right at the edge. So it's really, really square. And then you can do the same thing that you did on the bottom. Just hold it up, make sure it's square along the side. And along the bottom, marvellous. And burnish that down. If there's any glue, get your tinny towel out and get rid. Okay, so there we are. So let's just see. So that's going to go like that, and that's going to go like that. And yes, it seems to want to attach, so that's fine. I wouldn't say there's too much more pulling power, to be honest. So we need to find a design to go on here. So let's have a look. The world's our oyster. We can choose whatever we want. These are remnants from a past project. My goodness, I kept everything. That snake has no place in my journal. Well, I want something that's really, like that, for example. That's lovely. But it's the dog roses inside. Oh, I can't bring myself to cut those up. Obviously couldn't the last time either. Oh, that's nice though. That's nice as well. That's nice. That'd be quite nice if we had flaps though, wouldn't it? So we'll save that for that. But this is nice. As is that actually. Oh, and that. Oh, come on. There's loads. Let's just have a look and see what we like the look of. So there's that one. This one. Or that one. It's going to be one of those. I just don't know which at this stage. Oh, it's always difficult, isn't it, making choices? I do like that, it's nice. And I really like that. I'm going to go for this one. Oh, look at all that lovely text. Never mind, nothing I can do about it. So I need to cut this off at 7 inches. Use whatever cutting method is your favoured way. So make sure you get it nice and square. And cut that off. So we've preserved that for another day. Hey, hey. Right, so this is what we're going to use. nice, doesn't it? It looks gorgeous. Right, so I've decided, after much discussion with myself, that I am going to ink around the edges, and I'm going to use the Distress ink in tea dye, which is the lightest of the brown distress inks. I wanted something. Very often with Edith I use bundled sage, but I didn't want that. I wanted a brown to sort of go complement the craft. So, and I didn't want, you know, walnut stain or ground espresso or anything like that. It's too grungy. I don't want it grungy. I thought even vintage photo would be a bit dark, so I've gone with this tea dye, and it's darker than I thought it was actually, but it's all right. I quite like it. And it doesn't look anything very much. You can't see too much of it, but when you do put it down in the page, it does make it pop just that little bit off the background. So there we go. That's that. So need to just glue it down. So I'm just going to pick off the back of my tape that I've got on the magnet. Excuse me. Put a little bit of glue over that, and then glue this. Apply your glue. And the collall is good for things that are this size because it won't go off by the time you get to the bottom. Some of the art glitter, etc., you know, if it's a big page like this, you've almost got to do it in two. There we are. If you've got any corners that look a bit mushy, like too much glue on them, just wipe them off, clean them off on your Timmy towel, and then let's place this down. So carefully trying to get it square and centralised. And I don't think that's too bad really. A bit more this way. I think that's pretty good. Okay, so now get your Timmy towel, just fold it over your finger like that, and then we're going to go round this, but we're going to be pressing inwards. So going over the edge of the paper, but pressing inwards. That way then it kind of keeps all the glue inside, but does press it down. Like that. Okay, so the edges are now pressed down nicely, and it probably will take a couple of seconds just to tack up and stick down properly. But I can feel my magnet. I think we're okay. Okay, so the next thing is our flaps, our flippity flaps. And I laid out these two pieces. I thought that might go quite nicely on there. You know, I love this marsh marigold here. And I thought that this might go quite nicely up there. So let's just have a look and see what we think when they're in place. So it would be like that. How can you not like that? I mean, it's Edith, it's beautiful. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So for this one, the bottom flap, I am literally going to hold it where I want it to be. So it's going to be, you know, the same border all the way around. And you can line it up by the paper on you've used on the back. So lining it up with that. And I'm going to take my pencil, put the lid on my glue, might be an idea. And there's the edge. In fact, let me just put something behind that so you can see what I'm up to here. So this is my flap. I'm placing it centrally as I will be when I glue it, with the same margin all the way around. And then I'm just going to mark that with the same margin, and that can get cut. Now the top one, this has got to come this way, not forgetting. Let me move that out of the way and then you can see. So I'm leaving that margin all the way around, and then I'm going to measure that where I want to cut it, allowing for the margin. So let's cut those and see what happens. Ooh. The paper's falling. Oh, this cutter doesn't like Edith for some reason. So where's my little guillotine? That was another bit of a crafter lunch there. There we go. Right, so with my little guillotine and lining up that mark that we've just made, and cut that across, make sure it's square in your trimmer, of course. So that's one piece. Save this, always save your remnants. And this one, our mark is up here. So I'm going to have a pile of what will be remnants. Well, they are remnants, but we will circle through those as time goes on when we're looking for bits to stick on various things. So this is our bottom here. Let's just rub out those pencil marks. Rub them out as you come across them. That pen eraser on there's next to useless. And I'll just rub this one out as well, because it's easy to forget about them. Right, so I want to ink around here. So there is no measurement for this because it's a cut to fit job. You know, you measure it on the flap itself and cut it. Cut your chosen paper the way that I showed you, line it up and just make a little pencil mark. So it's easier than measuring, to be honest. And you're assured of a good fit. I mean, what could be better? So that's going to go on there. And this one will ink around, so you've got the ink out. I must say the pages in this book are they're just such a lovely colour. It's obviously, you know, quite an oldish book, and they're so dark and lovely. I've got one that's darker, and it's actually almost too dark. Okay, right, so we just need to glue that in position. Before I do that, I just want to ask myself a question. Do you want any lace on it? And if you do, now's a good time to do it because you can get it tucked behind there so you're not getting a square edge. So let's just have a look and see. And maybe don't want any on the bottom one because it's going to be under there, but maybe on the top. So let's stick the bottom one on and then we'll think about lace for the top. I Well, I had my second vaccination, second part of the vaccination, should I say, yesterday, another jab. My arm is really quite sore, but apart from that, I feel perfectly fine. So I'm hoping it stays that way. I'm just rubbing off any excess, real excess glue. Very grateful to have had both parts. So now have, you know, my maximum protection against this scourge of a disease. The people in India are having such a bad time, honestly. So I'm going to do the same thing again. Just poke my finger through my timmy toe, go around the outside, but the force is going in. That's that. And then the top one. So, question is, do we want to put that's better, just didn't look exactly square. Do we want to put lace on it? So let's have a look first, once again, at what we've chosen to go on it, which is this, I believe. Yeah, this. So that's going to go there. Right, so I've got some lace here. I haven't got very much cream lace actually. I've been making kits up and all my cream lace has gone. Virtually. Still got some. So how about that on there? And how about these little stick-on pearls? You will notice I got them from B&M, I think that is. And they were £1 for all of these, which is fine, but never trust the adhesive that comes with cheap gems. I never do. I always use additional adhesive. So I could stick that on along there and then put little pearls in them. I think that might look quite nice actually. Let's do that. Let's just do that. So I'll square that up on my board. And I'm going to put some double-sided to stick this lace on with. Let's just check that it's the right width. Yeah, I think we'll be all right. Not much to spare, but enough. So I'm going to put it on there. So that's kind of 1 centimetre up from the bottom. I can't see what I'm doing. And bring it down to there. Right, so that should be straight according to our board. Right, so I've got a little bit left on each side, here and here, that I can fold over to the back and fold the lace over with it, so you haven't got a rough edge on there. So let's just do that now. Let's burnish that down. There we go. And this is all a bit crinkly wrinkly, but I'm sure once it's stuck down it'll be all right. Hope so anyway. I don't want to waste any Edith. So I'm going to take that off just to there, because if I take both sides off it's just going to stick to the mat and that's just going to be a disaster. I don't know which is the right and wrong way of this. Pick a side, any side. Right, so I'm going to just stick that around there like that. And twist this. Oh dear me. So over the double-sided is the best idea. And same here, just you're tensioning it, you're not pulling it, because if you pull it, it will cockle your paper. So just a little bit of tension, but nothing much. Just fold that over the back and it will stick to that double-sided. So let's have a look. Let's burnish that down. There we go. Yeah, I like that. Let's just try a pearl in there and see if we actually like it first. So I'll just pick one up. Ooh, hello, you're lively. So if I were to, yeah, I think I do actually. You're a pretty long way away today. Sorry. But yeah, I think I like that. I could do every other. I'll try every other first. See what it looks like. So I want my E6000 because it's the strongest glue I have. Glossy Accents is also a very, very strong glue. So if you're ever looking for a really strong glue, Glossy Accents is the way forward. This is getting really messy. Ugh. So I'm just going to pop a fair splodge in there because the lace takes it up, it absorbs it. So there we go. And I'm just going to do the same all the way along. E6000 does not dry that quick, so I can afford to go along all of these and then come back and put my pearls on. I'll just put the lid on that. I mean, I might, when I go back, I might see that it's all dissolved into the thing. No, I think I'm all right. I think we're doing okay. As Bobby just realised his dad's gone. He'll probably start crying soon. He hates it when his dad's away. Oops. So it just takes a little minute to do these, but they do look nice. And it's things like this that they just add that bit of something. That say, you know, you weren't doing it just as quickly as ever you could. Right, so there, well, pretty much all on there. Just going to go back now and give them a really good press down. Got glue on my fingers, so it's not working overly well. They'll be fine. E6000 is a very good glue. Okay, well that's made a real difference to that. It really looks pretty now. So, where's my page? Here it is. Right, so that's going to go on there, and I think that looks just finished off. That's what it looks, nicely finished off. So let's glue that down. I've already inked around it, haven't I? Pretty sure I did. Let's have a check. Yep. It's amazing how popular Edith still is. I wonder what she would have made of it all. Who knows, eh? So I'm just going to use Fabri-Tac for those two places where the lace is, because I want them stuck down well. I didn't think of it until now, so it'll take a while for it to come to the bottom of the thing. There we are. Lovely. Right, so now this is going to be stuck in place. Let's have a look at it. Get it square with the bottom piece. I think that's it. Lovely. So this is a project that, you know, for sure you can have a go at. It's really, I won't say it's easy, because you really have to cut very, very accurately. But, you know, if you've got a trimming tool or whatever, then there's no reason why you can't trim accurately. I'm just putting a bit of pressure on that there to make sure that fabric sticks down. So yeah, I mean, after that, it's probably an easier project than a journal, I would say. But there will be some journaling elements in it, so there we are. That's kind of that. We're not quite finished with this page yet. We don't want this craft and the magnet and everything. We want to add some journaling to it. So what I'm going to use is some cream, well, paper dash card. I think it's 160 or 180, so it's on the thicker side of paper. And I'm just going to do what we did the last time. I'm just going to measure it by the top piece, by the piece that we've already glued in, and there's the hinge there. So I'm just going to put my mark there, and I want it 1/4 of an inch in. So there. So that's the height I want. There. That's the hinge. So I've come just this side of it, and along the bottom, that's the width that I want. So let's cut that out. Ow, sore arm. So I want it pretty exact. And this is half my battle, finding my pencil marks, I tell you. It's not too bad when it's plain cream paper. But let's just check that's square and fit for purpose. Looks good to me. Keep your remnants. You never know when you might need them. Don't know what that is, something in the paper. And then we're going to cut a bit for the top as well, inside the top flap. So using the remainder of the paper that you've just used, come down from the hinge, the crease, come into, in fact I'll do it that way and then I can line up on this page here. So make a mark 1/8 of an inch in. I'm just going to slide that down to there and make a mark there and cut that off. And I think this cream goes nicely with Edith. two marks on the same side. It's a bit of a ninny. Bit of a ninny-ish thing to do. Let's have a look, see what I meant to do. Yeah, I've put two marks on the same side. Oh dear. So I want that about there. But I do actually also want just a little bit off that. Just a bit too wide. So let's cut that there. And then I just want the merest half a smidgen off there. That'll do. That's what half a smidgen looks like. Nothing. So let's just see if this looks right. Yes, that's fine. So keep your remnants. Now, what I want to do is ink around them, and let's just check we haven't got any pencil marks, because I think I've sliced right through them actually. It's pretty good going for me, because it's too easy to forget them. There we, oh no, there we go. Right, so I'm going to ink around these. These will be our journaling spots. I mean, they're fabulous. I mean, you could equally stick a photo on it if you wanted to, but I think they make really good journaling spots. So ink around it so it all ties in nicely together. Oh, Bobby's missing his dad. There we go. So that's going to go there like that. But what I want to do, let's just ink around the other one first before we get ahead of ourselves. Too easy to get ahead of yourself. I think this cream really makes Edith sing, actually. You know, when you open it like that, I just think it complements it so well. And it looks nice on the craft as well. So there, that's going to go there. Right, okay. Now then, what I want to do is to stamp on this. I'm going to use my Tim Holtz wildflower stamps and my Tim Holtz tonic. Well, I don't think it's Tim Holtz. Oh yeah, it is. Tonic stamping pad block. Because you all know, if you've watched me before, totally rubbish at stamping. But this gives me a bit of something. I don't know what I was going to say. Confidence that I can do it properly. So here are my stamps. This is a different set. I have got a set of these in bigger, but this is a new set and it's called Mini Bouquet CMS 269, and you can see they're much smaller and they're definitely better for what I want. So I'm going to put some stamps. Let's just put the magnets on. So I want some sort of around here, I think. So what's the tallest one? That one maybe. And then maybe that one. I think that'll be fine. I think that'll be enough. So let's just pick these up, and I was going to say I'm going to use tea dye, but actually let's get some archival ink out. This is in vintage photo, so it'll be slightly darker, but that's fine. And I'm just gonna, these are brand new, I've never used them before, so they might take a few inkings to get exactly right. So let's just try that. Oh, it's gorgeous. I like that. I really, really like that. Do I want one on the other side? Yeah, it might be quite nice actually, mightn't it? So let's find one for the other side. That one, maybe a bit too big. No. This one. No. That one. Yeah, that one's fine. Just using my mini archival ink block in the colour Vintage Photo. You can use anything. You could use green, would be nice. Yes, looky look. That's lovely. So let's just get that out. Just wipe my stump over with my Timmy towel. Take it off there. Just pop that away while I stick this down. So you want to have it this way, so when you flip it down, it's here, and it's all for journaling. It's lovely. It's lovely, I tell you. Oh, let's have a drink. Diet Coke. I mean, if you wanted to, you could write the word notes or journal or, you know, whatever you've got, you could write it just to give people the idea that they can write there. I mean, you know, the other side of that is they can equally stick a photo there. Right, let's get this on. Lovely, doesn't that look nice? So let's take the Timmy towel and do the Timmy trick. It's not a Timmy trick actually, it's just common sense. I see Timmy has brought to market another colour of the Distress Ink family, or the Distress family should I say in total. I can't is it called Weathered Patina or something like that? Looks gorgeous, and if you were doing something sort of, you know, copper, be beautiful. So that's going to go there, and I'm going to stamp on that as well. So let's get the stamp platform back out. I'm just going to put it this way on, and then you can sort of see what's happening. So it's going to go that way. So for this one, I need them going up that way. So let's see what I've got that I can put on. I might have that one there actually, because it's sort of going that direction. This one and a smaller one if I've got. That's quite small. Yeah, I can fit all those on there, I think. Okay, let's go. And you know, with the stamping platform, it's got two sides, rubber and clear. Well, this one, they're obviously red rubber stamps, so I've got the rubber side, the rubber word facing me. So I'm just going to ink these. Right, let's see what that looks like. They're so pretty, these stamps, aren't they? Just needs a little bit more around there. This one's fine. Yeah, perfect. So I'm just going to wipe these over. There's not much left on them, obviously, after you've stamped. Just wipe them over. Take them off the platform so they're there for the next time when we want to make a decision. And get this bit glued on. Put the lid on my archival ink. Right, so let's just fold that up and see what's going on. So that's going to go there like that, and I think that's going to look so pretty. Right, so take the you know what I'm trying to say, the back off your double-sided, and just apply a little bit of glue along there, and then around. Same. So I like the choice of the cream. Like I say, you know, you can use anything. You really do the same journal here, but change it considerably. Same flips and flaps and everything else, but really, really different. I mean, you don't even have to even use Edith. You could use any papers from Etsy or from a design pad, scrapbooking pad, whatever. I'm just using our wonderful Edith because I love her. So that's okay there. Got a little bit of glue splurging out there, but because my towel is so absorbent, it just sucked it all up. So there's our page. It's really nice, isn't it? And the bottom flips in and this flips down. And there we have it, page 1. Really rather pretty, isn't it? So join me again for, well, page 2. We might go on and do page 2 and page 3, whatever, however long fits into a reasonable length video. And in the interim, I will go ahead and make a document that's got all the measurements for this. You know, the measurements I've used. If you want to use different papers, you might have to change them a bit, but this is what I've used. So I'll see you soon for part 2. It won't be long. Bye. Thanks for joining me.